Assalamualaikum and good afternoon everyone. So today we are going to continue our topic for this third week, which is regarding the animal nutrition, digestions and metabolisms. So for today we are going to continue about the second stage of the food processing, which is the digestions, and then we will follow by the absorption and elimination. Okay, before that, let's I share my screen. Okay, hopefully all of you can see my slide. So today is the part 2 of the animal nutrition, digestion and metabolism. So as you still remember, the digestion is our second stage of the food processing, all right? And the digestion is the process of breaking down the food, which is the breaking down the food into particle that is small enough to be absorbed, right? And this process is achieved by the help of enzyme. Okay. Um, then we go to the vertebrate digestive system. But before that, if you still remember, in our last class, we were talking about the digestive system in the invertebrate, which is we have the extracellular digestions, we also have the intracellular digestions. So for the extracellular digestions, we have the simple examples. We have the gastrovascular cavity, which is found in organisms that only have one opening of digestions. And we also have the alimentary canal, this is the most advanced system that consists of one tube with two opening, which is one is mouth and the second opening is the anus in the other side. Alright, so this is the digestive vertebrate digestive systems. So it's different with the invertebrate. So this vertebrate digestive system have evolved more complex, alright, to adapt to their dietary needs. Okay, and some animals they have a single stomach, while the other animals they have multi-chamber stomachs. And the mammalian digestive system, this is also consists of the alimentary canal. So alimentary canal, if you remember, this consists of one tube with two opening, right? They have one opening as a mouth and the other side is the anus. And it is same with the mammalian, but they also have the various accessory glands. So these glands they will secrete the digestive juice through the ducts. Okay, later on we'll see in details about this one. So human and many animals also have a monogastric digestive system. Okay, as illustrated in the next slide. So the monogastric is actually refers to mono, refers to one, and gastric it refers to uh, stomach chamber. So if you're talking about the human and many animals have monogastric, it means that they have they consist of the one stomach chamber, okay, of the digestive system. So this is the human and also one example of the herbivores digestive system. So A is the human and this is the herbivore, which is rabbit. So as you can see from here, both of these example they have the monogastric, which is consists of one stomach chamber. Okay, they have the esophagus. Okay, so the food are taken in the body through the mouth. Okay, and will transfer through the esophagus, right? Both to the stomach, and the food will travel through the small intestine and also through the large intestine and also expel out the waste through the anus. Right, it same goes to the herbivores, the rabbit. But in here, even though they have the alimentary canal, which is they have two opening mouth and also anus in here, in both. They have mouth and anus, but they have the gland accessory, right? I'm talking in the last slide, okay? Which they have liver, they also have pancreas, right? So all of these, they also have stomach here. So all of these organ, okay, or we call it as an accessory, it will help in the digestive of the food, okay, which is they are secreting the enzyme, all right. So the difference between the human and also the rabbit, as you can see from here, there are the rabbit have small intestine, and also the cecum are enlarged to allow more time to digest the plant materials, okay. And the enlarged organ provide more surface area for absorption of nutrient in the rabbit, okay. But the colon also functioning in remove the water and some nutrients from the partially digested food, right. So the process of digestion begin with the mouth and the intake of food. Okay, so this will begin in the first opening of the alimentary canal in the mammalian. So the teeth play an important role in masticating, which is chewing, or physically breaking down the food into smaller particles. Okay, so the enzyme present in saliva also begin to chemically break down of the food. Okay, so this is the starting of the process of digestive in the mammalian. So we have a receiving region in here, the receiving region of food. Okay, so we have oral cavity, also have pharynx and esophagus. So these regions are initiate of food processing. So the presence of food in the oral cavity, they will trigger the release of saliva, and this saliva will contain the amylase, which is the enzyme that hydrolyze the starch. Okay. So esophagus is the receiving region. Okay, so the esophagus will transfer the food to the digestive region. So from the receiving region to the digestive region. So in many invertebrates, such as annelids, insects, and octopods, the esophagus is expanded into crops. Okay, if you still remember for the last lecture, I'm talking about the crop. So the crop is some sort of muscular pouch which used for storage, right? So the crop where the food passes into when it leaves the esophagus, okay, and it is part of the digestive tract that enlarge part of the esophagus to store the food. So this is crop in the many of the invertebrate. And bird also they have a crop that serve to store and soften the food. So this is the motility in alimentary canal. Okay, so the food are moved through the alimentary canal by cilia or the specialized musculature or both. Right. So they have two type of movement. The first one we have segmentation, and the second one we have perithalsis. So the segmentation is here. This movement are involve alternate constriction of ring of smooth muscles. Okay, of the smooth muscles that move the contents around, mixing. Okay, as you can see from this direction. Okay, so they are moving the contents around, right, around. Okay, and mixing with the enzyme. While the perithalsis, it involves wave of contraction behind the food. So this is the food. So the contraction, the wave of contractions are behind of the food. Okay, that move it through the gut. So this is the movement of the two type of the movement, which is we have segmentation and also perithalsis. So as you can see from here, so the alimentary canal is actually, if you remember, is the whole passage along which the food passes through the body from the mouth, okay, through this second opening, which is anus, okay. So this alimentary canal of the mammalian, it include the esophagus, stomach, and also the intestine, the small and also the large intestine. So So this is the differentiate between the segmentation, the movement, okay, and also the peristalsis. So the segmentation involves the contractions of the circular muscles in the digestive tract. So unlike the peristalsis, the segmentation actually can slow the progressions of chyme. Alright. So the chyme is actually the semi-fluid mass of partly digested food. Okay, and it is expelled by the person's stomach. Alright, so this is chyme. So these segmentations can actually slow down the progressions of chyme through the systems. And the segmentation also, the contraction occur in the large intestine and small intestine, while in the peristalsis, it involves of rhythmic contractions of the longitudinal muscles in the gastrointestinal tract, and normally the peristalsis predominates in the esophagus compared to the segmentation. It happens in the large intestine and small intestine. So let me see the video. How does the movement of segmentation and peristalsis?
Distinct muscular actions of the GI tract move food on its long journey. Wave-like rhythmic muscular contractions push food and digestive materials in one direction along the GI tract. These muscle contractions are called peristalsis. Segmentation is a muscular movement that occurs in the small intestine. The alternating forward and backward movements of segmentation further mix the partially digested food and digestive juices and bring this mixture, called chyme, into contact with the intestinal wall.
Okay. So that is the movement of the gut. We have two types, which is segmentation.
All right, engineers, in this video, we're going to talk about the motility of the small intestine. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, guys.
There's a lot of video showing the movement of the differentiation between the movement, which is segmentation, and the peristalsis. Okay, you can see it from you can search it from the YouTube or Google. So this is the peristalsis. So this is the food moving down from the receiving region. So this is the relieving. Sorry. So this is the receiving region. Okay, so the food are movement through the esophagus to the stomach. Okay, from the receiving regions to the digestive regions. Okay, so as you can see from here, so this is the muscles are relaxed and contracted. Will take place in order for the food are transferred through the esophagus. So the stomach. So the stomach stores the food and perform the preliminary digestions. So just now is the food are transferred from the receiving region to the digestive region, which is stomach. So stomach is perform the preliminary digestions. Okay, so the stomach will secrete the gastric juices and mix them with food by churning motion. So the churning motion, some sort of shaking, right? Shaking motion. So and the stomach also present in the gastric juice. So the present in the gastric juices also is a pepsin. So the pepsin is the enzyme that begins the hydrolysis of proteins. All right. So the pepsin is a hydrolytic enzyme that acts on protein to produce peptide. Okay, so they are involved in the breaking down process. Okay, the hydrolysis, the breaking down process of from the protein to the peptide. So this is the stomach. So the function of the stomach, they have three here. The first one is as a food storage. Okay, as I mentioned in the previous slide. So our stomach can stretch up to fit for about 2 liter food. Okay, it's a big. And also the second function of stomach is to to disinfect the food. All right. So which is they have the HCl, which is the hydrochloric acid. Okay, so this hydrochloric acid will kill the bacteria and also will breaks apart the cell. And also the third functions of stomach is chemical digestion. So in the in the process of chemical digestion, they have a pepsin. Okay, so pepsin is actually secreted from the chief cell, which is gastric pits. Okay, so as you can see from here, so this is our stomach. So this is the fold of the epithelial tissue. So so this is the epithelial tissue. So we have the parietal cells. We also have the chief cells. So the chief cell will produce the pepsinogen. Okay, pepsinogen is actually the inactive form, okay, of the pepsin. So the parietal cells also will release the hydrochloric acid. All right. So in order to active the pepsin. All right. So when the hydrochloric acid combine with the pepsinogen, it will active the pepsinogen to the pepsin. Okay, so pepsin is the active enzyme. And also in the positive feedback, in the positive feedback system, the activator of pepsin in here, they also can activate more pepsinogen molecules. Okay, so this is the process happen in the stomach in the chemical digestions. So but the stomach is made up of a protein. Okay, and what stop the stomach from digesting itself? Okay, instead of they are digesting protein from the food, what stop the stomach from digesting itself? So in our stomach, we have a mucus. So the mucus is functioning to protect the stomach lining in order for the stomach to digesting itself. All right. So the mucus is very important. So this is the stomach and the secretions. Okay. So as you can see from here, we have gastric gland. We also have the mucous cell. So this is the mucus that prevent our stomach from digesting the protein from the stomach itself. So this is the chief cells that secrete the pepsinogen. We also have the parietal cells. So the parietal cells is secreting the hydroacid, right? So so the gastric juice is made up of hydrochloric acid and the enzyme of pepsin. Okay, so this is the process. Okay, in order to secrete the pepsin, which is the active enzyme. So the small intestine. So the small intestine in the longer sections of the alimentary canal. Okay, so the small intestine is functioning as a major organ of digestions and absorptions. Okay, so it involves of two steps of the food processing, which is digestion and absorption. So the second functions of small intestine is as a chemical digestion. Okay, they have an enzyme of pepsin. Okay, digestive enzymes, and also the third function of small intestine is to absorb the nutrients, which is the absorption through the lining. So the small intestines, the length of small intestines can make up over 6 meters. Okay, so the small intestine has huge surface of area, which is for about 300 meters square, which is the size of tennis court. And the first 25 centimeter of the small intestines we call as a duodenum. So in this duodenum, here the chyme, okay, here the chyme from the stomach is mixed with juices, okay, from the pancreas, juice from the liver, and also juice from the gallbladder. Okay, so this is the juice are produced by the some of the organs, okay. So as you can see from here, so the first 25 centimeter of small intestine is a duodenum. So from here in the stomach, so it will secrete the acid chyme. So in the liver, it will secrete the bile. Okay, in the pancreas, it will secrete the pancreatic juice. So it will mix up in the duodenum. All right. So the duodenum, so the pancreas produce the proteases trypsins. Okay, so the juice produced by the pancreas is the proteases trypsin and also chymotrypsins. So this the protein digesting enzyme that are activated after entering the duodenum. Alright, so this is the juice that produced by the pancreas. So its solution is alkaline and neutralize the acidic chyme. Okay, that's secreted by the stomach. Okay, you must to remember. Okay, and the liver, okay, it secrete the biles, okay, into the bile duct, which drain into the duodenum. So the bile is stored in the gallbladder between the meals. So the bile salts are important for digestion of fat. All right. So the small intestine, the epithelial lining of the duodenum called the brush border. Okay, so these brush border are produced several digestive enzymes. So the enzymatic digestion is completed as peristalsis movement. Okay, so this is one of the movement. Move the chyme and digestive juice along the small intestine. So what is secreted here? Okay, liver. It produces bile. The gallbladder. What is the function of gallbladder? So the gallbladder is functioning to store the bile. And the pancreas, okay, it will produce the proteases trypsin and chymotrypsin enzyme. While the duodenum, okay, uh, it will produce the hydrolytic enzyme. Okay, so this is all the juices that you need to remember in the digestive system. Okay, so enzymes are essential in breaking down of food into small and also absorbable units. Okay, so this is the most important of enzyme. So the digestive enzyme are hydrolytic enzyme. So the food molecules are split by hydrolysis. So the hydrolysis is the chemical breakdown of a compound due to the reaction of the water. So this is hydrolysis. Okay, the breaking down, the chemical breaking down compound due to reaction of the water. Okay, hydrolysis. So the proteins are broken down into individual amino acids. The complex carbohydrates are broken down into simple sugars, while the fats are reduced to glycerol, fatty acids, and also monoglyceride. Okay, so this is the molecules. Okay, as you can see from here, so this is the carbohydrates, the complex carbohydrates. So the enzymes involved in the hydrolysis enzymatic hydrolysis is the pancreatic amylase. So it will broken down into a simple sugar. So the simple sugar will absorb through the digestive systems and will transfer to the blood capillary. And how about protein? So protein, the enzyme that involved to breaking down the protein is the trypsin. So the trypsin, so the protein will broken down into individual amino acid. Okay, so it easily can be absorbed by the digestive system and will transfer to the blood capillary. Well, the fat, okay, the fat, the enzyme that involved in the sorry, in the fat broken down is the bile salt. So the bile salt will combine with the fat globules and forms emulsifications droplets. Okay, so it will reduce into the glycerol, fatty acids, and also the monoglycerides. Okay, so it will absorb by the digestive system and transferred to the lymphatic capillary. Okay. So this is the figure of enzymatic hydrolysis, okay, in the human digestive systems. So as you can see from here, so the carbohydrate digestions, the process happen in the oral cavity, pharynx, and esophagus. Okay, with the enzyme that involved in the process is the cellulary amylase. All right. So the carbohydrate will broken down into simple sugar, which is disaccharides. Okay, and also monosaccharides. So the protein digestions, okay, so it will happen in the stomach. Okay, stomach, and the enzyme that are involved in the process is the pepsin. So the protein are broken down into small amino acid. Okay, so this is same, the nucleic acid digestions and also fat digestions both happen in the lumen of a small intestine. Okay, so in the nucleic acid digestions, the enzyme that involved is the pancreatic nucleases, while in the fat digestions, the enzyme that involved is the bile salt. So they will for the fat digestions, they will reduce the fat into the glycerol fatty acid and monoglycerides. Okay, while for the nucleic acid digestions, it will broken down into the nitrogenous bases sugar and phosphate. So that is the second main stage of the food processing. The first one is taking in the food, which is ingestions, and the second one is the digestion. So digestion is the most longest process, okay, stage of processing of food. So we move to the third main stages of food processing, which is absorption. So the absorption is the molecules that have been broken down are absorbed by the digestive system, and the nutrients will travel to the bloodstreams to be distributed to the whole body. So this is the enzyme. The enzyme is very important, okay, in the enzymatic hydrolysis in breaking down process. So it will breaking down the molecules, okay, and will be absorbed, okay, absorbed by the digestive systems. So all the nutrients will travel to the bloodstreams, okay, and be distributed to the whole body. So this is the process of absorption. So most absorption occur in the small intestine. So the small intestine, they have two processes happen in here, which is digestion and also absorption. So the small intestine, they have a large surface area due to the folding of lining into villi. So each villus, okay, one of the villus has many microscopic appendages we call as a microvilli. So this microvilli increase the rate of absorption. And in the core of each villus, there is a net of capillaries and also small vessel. Okay, the small vessel we call as a lacteal. Okay, in the lymphatic system. So the nutrients are absorbed across the intestinal epitheliums. Okay, then across the epithelium of the capillaries or the lacteals. Okay, because each villus it have the net capillaries and also lacteal. So the nutrient will absorb across the intestinal epithelium and epithelium of the capillaries or lacteal. Then the nutrient will flow into the bloodstream. Okay. Okay, so this is the absorption by the small intestine. Okay, as you can see from here. So the red arrow is indicating the nutrient absorption, right? So this is the small intestine. So this is the folding inside the small intestine. So this is the villi, all right? So each villi, we call it as a villus, okay? So each villus, they have microscopic appendages, which we call it as a microvillus. Okay, so this is one microvilli. So this is how the nutrients are absorbed to the blood capillaries or lacteal, and also will transfer through the blood streams. Okay, so each core of each villus, they have a net capillaries. Okay, in the so this is the blood capillaries, skin net capillaries, and also small vessel, the blue, the light blue, okay, of the lymphatic systems. Okay, so this is what we call as a lacteal. So the nutrients, okay, so this is the nutrients. So the nutrients are absorbed across the intestinal epithelium here, and also will across the epithelium of capillaries or lacteal. Okay, then the nutrients will flow into the bloodstream. So this is the process of nutrients absorption. So the absorption through the villi and macrovilli, which is the villi and macrovilli is like the finger-like projection. Okay, finger-like projection. Okay, so this is the microscopic diagrams of the villi. Okay, so this one villi. So this is one villi. So this is the villus here, right? So this is the microvilli. So as you can see from here. So this is the lacteal, the lymphatic system. Okay, so this is the blood capillary. So the nutrient will absorb across the intestinal epithelium. So this is the intestinal. So this the nutrient will absorb through the intestinal epitheliums, and also then will cross the epitheliums of either the capillaries or lacteals. Okay, so then the nutrient will flow down into the bloodstreams. Okay, to be distributed into the whole body. So this is the absorption of nutrients. Okay, so the core of each villus. Okay, so this is villus. The core of each villus contain a network of blood vessel here, the blue and the red, and also a small vessel of lymphatic cell. We call as a lacteal here. Okay, so either the nutrient will absorb through the capillaries or through the lacteal. So it will goes down to the bloodstreams or lymphatic system. So that is the third stages of food processing, which is absorption of the nutrients, which will happen in the small intestine, right? So you need to remember they have a villus, they have a microvillus, right? So we're also talking about the lacteal, the lymphatic system, and also the capillaries. So we come to the last process or the last stages in the food processes, which is the elimination. So the elimination is the waste products of digestion, which is expelled out from the body. So the waste products are content of undigested part of food. Okay, we don't want this part, so we will expel out from our body. So it happens in the large intestine, okay, or in the rabbits just now they have a colon. So the colon of the large intestine is connected to the small intestines. So the circums aid or help in the fermentation of plants material, and also this also help functioning in the connects the small and large intestines. Okay, so the human circum has an extension we call as the appendix, and the appendix play a very minor role in our immunity. This is why when we have the appendix, we just remove the appendix because the appendix just play a very minor role in our immunity. So a major function of colon is to recover water that has entered the alimentary canal, and the waste of the digestive tract, which is the waste we call feces. Okay, it will become more solid as they move through the colon. So the feces will start in the rectum until they can be eliminated. So in the large intestine, we also have two sphincters, okay, between the rectum and anus. So these two sphincters functioning in control the bowel of movement. Then the feces will pass through the rectum and exit via the anal canal, where the opening is called the anus. So this is the second opening of the alimentary canal. The first one is mouth. Okay, the second one is anus. So this alimentary canal involve of esophagus, small intestine, also large intestine. So the feces will pass through the rectum and exit via anus. So the colon houses strains of the enterobacteria or E. coli, which some of which produce the vitamin. Okay, so this is the junctions of small intestine and large intestine. So this is the cecum. So the cecum is aids in the fermentation of plant materials and also connects the small and also large intestine. Okay, so this is the anatomy of large intestine, where as you can see from here, so this is the small intestine. Okay, it connect to the large intestine. So this is where the feces are stored in the rectum. Okay, the undigested food where we want to expel it out from our body. So the feces will start first in the rectum, then it will expel out through the anus. So this is the anus. Okay, we come to the last slide. So this is the digital image of human colon. Okay, as you can see from here. So this is our large intestine. So rectum and anus. So the fecal matter is stored here until expelled through the anus. Okay. So the process to process the entire meal that we take, it will take 16 to 24 hours in humans. So don't eat much because it will take time to expel out the undigested food from our body. Okay. Okay, so I think that's all for today's lecture. We are covered the part of the second stage of food processes, which is digestions, and it comes to the third process of food, okay, which is absorption, the absorption of nutrients, and also the last stage of food processing is the elimination, okay, which we expel out the undigested food through the anus. Okay, that's all from me. Okay, if you guys have any questions, just you can just WhatsApp me or email me. Okay, thank you very much.